What is going on, everybody? What's going on? Florida State Seminoles Nation. We are live. Sorry for the being late. Had some things I had to do before I came in here, and I was supposed to do a live after the game, but life be life sometimes. But here we are. The Florida State Seminoles are 3-0, y'all. They just improved to 3-0 this past weekend, taking on the Kent State Golden Flashes. You know, it was a very dominant performance. They came out and they took care of business. There were no slip ups, no hangover from the win the week. 2 weeks before. They had a bye week, so you always worry about rust and things like that. But Florida State, they just did what they've been doing all year. It was a record breaking day, as a matter of fact. They set a school record 498 yards rushing. Also set another school record with 8 rushing touchdowns. So it was just complete domination. They won 66-10. Like I said, improving their record to 3-0 in the year. Let's shout out a couple of the players of the game. Tommy Castellanos, the quarterback, continues to be efficient. He did throw one interception, but that was just a great play by great athletic play by the defender. Kent State. And plus, Castellanos isn't the tallest guy in the world. So he just made a great play on him. That's all it was. But he was 10 for 13, 205 yards. He also had 7 carries for 54 yards, which included 2 rushing touchdowns. So he continues to be efficient. The running backs had a field day. Gavin Sawchuk led the way for the running backs with 97 yards. He added 2 touchdowns. Sam Singleton, 86 more. He had 2 touchdowns. Sophomore Cam Davis, he got a lot of work in this game, a lot of touches due to it, being a blowout or whatever. He had 4, I think it was 4 carries for 30 yards and a touchdown, averaging 7.5 yards to carry. He also had 3 receptions for 46 yards. So um, very, very, very positive day for Cam Davis. Someone that they're trying to, get some reps in and see, what he can contribute to the backfield. Jalen Lucas, he had 44 yards rushing. And also, speaking of rushing guys, Kai Danzy. Every time this guy gets the ball in his hands, it's just electric, man. He had another rushing touchdown, 64 yards out. The guy's just dynamic with the ball in his hands. His speed, his explosiveness, his acceleration is just second to none, man. He just looks like he's just leaving everybody in the dust. When you see him running, it's like you just see people fading in the background. He's just separating, and he makes it look so effortless. He's just I don't really know too much more you can say about the kid. He was also voted ACC Rookie of the Week for Week 4. And then we finally got to see him go up and catch the football on some deep passes, y'all. 2 receptions, 112 yards. Now, mind you, he did all this damage all in the first quarter. Very big first quarter for him, just like the 160-yard first quarter that Deuce Robinson had 2 weeks prior. So, Kai Daniels just continues to impress. We knew about his running ability the first couple of games, but now you're seeing him being involved in the passing game and stretching defenses and being able to work over the top and make big plays. Takes his offense to a whole different dynamic. So shout out to Makai Danzy, and also some of the other guys. Um, Dwayne McCoy, he caught 2 passes for 30 yards. Javon Boggs, it was good to see him get in. He had 3 catches for 30 yards. So the offense is just clicking, man. The offensive line looks very dominant. We had a lot of experience with all these transfers coming in from other schools. So kind of worried, like, how is that going to fit when you mesh them all together in the new system together? But they're doing a really good job to dominate the line of scrimmage each and every single week. Um, it's just beautiful to see, man. And then the defense, we gave up a touchdown early. After it was 14-0, they drove the ball on us pretty good. We had a blown coverage. They scored a touchdown, but we only surrendered 10 points. Kent State only had 206 yards of offense. So the only team that really put yardage up on us was Alabama, but a lot of that was because the game was already over and they were trying to come back. But the defense just continues to dominate. Mandrill Desir, he only had one tackle in this game, but you can just see him, just his quick first step, his explosion off the line, and he had the big hit on the quarterback. Um, so he just continues to show that he might be a freshman, but and so is his brother too. His brother, um, we got us two good ones in the Desir brothers, Mandrill and Daryl. So shout out to them. But yeah, man, because coming up, we got the ACC schedule starting this week. Of course, everybody wants to talk about the Miami game, but we have a road test coming up on a short week. Remember, we play Friday night against the Virginia Cavaliers, and with our defense being so dominant the way it has been, going back to the Alabama game, now we're going to get tested because this Virginia, first of all, Virginia's 3-1. So they are, a good football team, and they average 45 points a game. And the reason is because their offense, they have guys that can really, stretch the field and stuff like that. They have several receivers that have been making plays for them this year already. So you have their leading receiver. I think it's Jamiri, how you saying? Jamiri Taylor, 298 yards. So he's really doing his thing. Let me make sure I got these notes right. I think I got mixed. Xavier Brown. Yeah, okay. Yeah, he's 6.2. Harrison Whaley, 214 yards. Noah Vaughn, he has 170 yards. Xavier Brown has 146. So these guys are spreading the ball around a lot. They're really spreading the ball around a lot. So, no, excuse me, no, those were the running backs. I'm sorry, those are the running backs. The receivers, the lead receiver is Trail Harris with 321 yards and 3 touchdowns, averaging 17.8 yards per catch. So, and right after him, the leading receiver as far as receptions is Cam Ross with 19. He has 252 yards and a touchdown. And so we're really going to have to watch it in the secondary this week. This is a big test for them. We haven't been tested a whole lot. So, and they have several guys that can get it done. Thirdly, man, this is state because we're going to have shit the one Texas state, but it was we're really out Virginia. This is gritty, but concerned about play game loss. I mean, I still think Ward done scored that touchdown just like he does. But road ACC games at night are always tough. So they're gonna have to be ready. And it was against Kent State. Is that when they were, but eventually, but through it, yeah, this is getting into the meat and potatoes of the schedule, man. Because once we get past Virginia, I do think Florida State is going to beat Virginia. Then we got Miami, and we all hate Miami because we're Florida State fans, but Miami's going to be tough. They have one of the best pass rushers in the nation, with Ruben Bain Jr. leading the way, their edge rusher, who's just terrorizing every offensive line that he faces. They can score, they can run the football, they can protect against the pass. So the next couple of weeks, we're going to really find out what the 2025 Florida State Seminoles are about. Um, so, yeah, this is the fun time of the year. It's no more, layups and easy wins. I guess you could say. Now we're going to find out about what Tony White and that defense, that 3-3-5. There's just swarming and shutting everything down. Now you're facing some better competition. So we're really going to find out what his scheme's about now. Gus Malzahn and his offensive line. Like I said, that all that experience we have with all the transfers, how they've been dominating. Now you're going to go get some guys that can get after it. So it'll be fun to see them finally get really get tested again. Like they were week 1 against Alabama. So yeah, I didn't want to stay on too long. I want to just talk about the game and shout out some guys that were doing their thing with us, especially the offense, man. Like I said, it was just a record-setting day. I mean, I don't care who you're playing against. Anytime you get 700 and something yards and you score 60-something points and, you set, run for basically 500 yards and 8 touchdowns, big shout out to them and not, taking their foot off the gas. Oh, and also I want to shout out to Kevin Sperry, the backup quarterback. He looked very, very efficient because he got to play a little bit because Castellanos got his ankle rolled up on, and there was no need to force him to play a whole lot because the game was already over. I mean, it was 35-0 at the end of the first quarter. So, but Kevin Sperry, man, he gives you a look at the future because he's going to be looking to battle Jaden O'Neal next year, for that starting role, once Castellanos is gone. So but he looks very, very efficient. He gets the ball out very quick. He's very decisive. He goes to his reads. It was good to see him get the work that he got because, like I said, he's going to be one of the top 2 candidates next year for QB1. So, and again, going back to Cam Davis, a guy who's, he's a part of rotation right now, but, getting him these reps in these games that we've been winning and, because the scores have been so lopsided, he's getting some work. Next year he's going to be trying to start, once Sawchuk, is gone and all that. But yeah, we didn't have any letdown. We took care of business after a bye week. But, now that we got Kent State out the way, Virginia's gonna test us, especially the defensively because these guys can put up points. So we just got to keep doing what we're doing. Just keep getting better week to week. Keep um, keep Castellanos still being efficient. I mean, I'm not worried about the running game. The running game just seems to be clicking so good right now. Shout out to Gus Malzahn on that. And we're only going to get better, y'all. The more we play, the better we're going to get. So, but it's just time to get these conference games on the way and get this competition going. Teams that really know you, teams that have played you a bunch, and teams that see you regularly. What I'm saying? It's tougher to win conference games. I don't care what conference you're in. So, yeah, it is time to get after it. Time to see if we can finally get back, at the top of the ACC, man. Book that trip to Charlotte, which could be a rematch against Miami if everything goes away. It should go how things are looking because this is the perfect time to do that because Clemson's having a down year. So like Florida State and Miami, they're literally at the top of the heap, running neck and neck, for who can come out of the ACC. So yeah, man, just want to hop on real quick and recap the game. Um, talk about what we saw on Saturday. It was a win that was expected, but you still want to come out and play well and leave injury free. We were able to do that. Castellanos, like I said, had the little ankle thing, but he was able to come back and he actually ran back on the field, so he'll be good. And he said after the game that he's 100%. There's nothing to worry about. So yeah, man. Let's get it, y'all. It's time to show that we're not just a team that can beat up on lesser opponents or it wasn't a fluke that we beat Alabama. Doing again, and maybe guest on later on the weekend about the you um, um, yeah, they have three runners. Vaughn, Wiley, Wiley, I think it's last name, Harrison Wiley, and Taylor, that are all averaging at least 6.2 yards a carry. So, it's gonna be a challenge. And then Xavier Brown, who's 146 yards, like I said, he's not quite, what they are per average, but he averages 4.4 yards. So it's gonna be a test. They spread the ball, with their receivers, and they also have several running backs that can come in and do the job. So good test for Florida State. And like I say, on the road at night, it's not going to be easy, but I see Florida State getting it done. But I hope everybody had a great Monday. Like I say, I might see y'all later on in the week, but if not, do a recap after the game Friday night, when we beat Virginia and get the 4-0. So everybody stay safe, stay blessed. Go Notes.
College football is even more exciting when you've got some action on the line, and the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the Voice of College Football is the place to be to get the greatest value.